Right, I'd like to call a regular meeting of council to order, Monday, November 2nd, 2020. Approval of the agenda, please.
The Monday, November 2nd, 2020 regular council meeting agenda be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Lehmann. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Adoption of minutes, October 19th, 2020 regular council meeting minutes. Recommendation, please. Councillor Lehmann.
The minutes of the Monday, October 19th, 2020 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Jinsky. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Any business arising from minutes, council? Staff? Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, because there's just the one item, I will bring forward 7.2 for discussion. Seconder, please, Councillor Kirkpatrick. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. So we do have a recommendation here, for discussion. Councillor Kirkpatrick.
The recommendation on the floor of the council approves the TUMBLER Days Society plans for the development of the stage and pavilion as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Jinsky. Discussion. Councillor Kirkpatrick, can you explain the reason for the motion?
Yeah, so in their letter, they're just asking for the stage and pavilion, and what was in the recommendation previous is the fairgrounds is presented. Talking with Terry, their concept is to bring back better drawings of that. I think there's a few things missing there, and I think staff should supply the drawings that we got. I believe for urban systems, a quick plan that we had there had the for vendors for power and stuff like that, and I think Terry and them are aware of that. So I know talking with her, they talked about this was one of the steps to get better drawings. That's why I'm supporting the stage and pavilion as after the asked in the letter.
Or comments? Okay, call the question on the recommendation, or Councillor? No. Call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. No bylaws, on to new business. 9.1. Resolution of support for proposed changes to the plans for the GEOPARK. Councillor?
I'm going to recuse myself.
Thank you. Paul? Recommendation, please. Councillor McCall.
Council confirms their support for the changes and updates to the plans for the Tumbler Ridge GEOPARK as presented at October 13th, 2020 policies and price Canadian.
Seconder, Councillor Lee. Discussion. Councillor Hall.
So what are the changes?
The changes were from 2 separate buildings to 1 building, and 3 phases, I believe. As well as the wall design.
So the information on page 26, that's what we're going on? Okay, that's the only change, that's the report, that's
Yeah, so from
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
25 was the original plan.
Okay.
26 is the proposed change. And as well as page 27 is the proposed change as well. And page 28 is the phased approaches. Councillor Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, so their delegation that came in, they talked about in regards to some of the wall and how it was set up in the previous plans that came before council and how they're trying to open it up a little bit differently. So you can see the walls on page 24, that stuff will come down. So they talked about that, and then of course the building concept with the weather climate that we received in Tumbler Ridge, they thought this was a better option. I'm not sure, Councillor, you might have more information. She sits as their liaison and probably has a better update, but that's kind of what I got from the delegation.
Thank you. Councillor Hall.
So what's the plan on costs on this thing as well? So this is going to be funded entirely by the GEOPARK. This is not something they're coming to the district to Tumbler Ridge for any funding on?
At this time, I don't believe so. That's correct.
And so now we're back to the plan where we're gonna do the pod, and so correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I thought that this whole thing started out was they had planned to do this pod, or a trailer they were gonna pull. They came in to get funding for that from NDIT, and then they changed it, correct? And went to this giant thing with the caboose and that piece of land they needed, and we need to remove that building. And they said they weren't doing the mobile structure, and now the mobile structure is back on the table. So the plan has changed 3 times now, and now we're changing the plan again and asking for council approval again. Does that sound about right, about what we're doing here?
Phase 1, I don't believe the mobile exhibit or the trailer was ever out of the plans.
Okay,
But it is, on page 28, it is labeled as the phase 1. That's going to be the first approach to this project, is to get that mobile unit up and running. And then continuing on with the 2 other phases. That's right.
so the mobile exhibit, I've been behind that since day one. It makes a lot of sense to do it in a staged approach. Just like, it seems like to me it keeps changing. Like it came in as a staged approach, then they went, no, we're gonna do this whole entire project, and now we're back to a staged approach. And every time they came in, they had a reason why it worked better to do it that way. And I had the argument at that time that it made more sense just to do it in a staged approach. Just do the mobile structure that you can take around to the other communities to try to get support through the Peace River Regional District to get some funding from other places. And I don't quite get why it keeps changing back and forth. And the other point here is they're asking us to approve phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, all 3 at this time. So phase 2, I cannot approve again. I'm not in favor of them having a cafe in that area. I think that's competition for our businesses. I think it's reflected that the DTR will be in competition with businesses for this. And so I can definitely approve phase 1, the mobile exhibit, but I'm not comfortable doing all of it tonight.
Councillor Cook.
Yeah, so just in regards to when you talk about the cafe and stuff, so it actually mentions it on page 26, and they made it very known in their delegation that they're gonna do a third-party lease and space of the equipment. So I'm gonna be run by the GEOPARK. They're looking for, and then whether it's another business that's already established in Tumbler Ridge to take it over, or somebody else looking to go into business, so that, to me, it's not competing with other businesses compared to was in their first plans where it was gonna be operated by the GEOPARK. This is not being operated by the GEOPARK. It's gonna be subleased to somebody else. So that's why I like the idea. I had that concern when they first came that, here we are, we support the GEOPARK. We do support them fundly as well through the PRRD. We support them in regards to the land and all this, and that's how they're gonna do it, was gonna run it themselves. When they came forward in their last delegation and talked about they're gonna sublease it out and stay out of that, I think that's, they listen to council.
I think another part of the changed approach here is also the new management of the GEOPARK as well as the project management. I think the hiring of the project manager coming in to see the full scope of the project, I believe they were short on their total budget for that project and had to make changes because of it. So I think this phased approach is a responsible change. Councillor Hall.
Yeah, so again, the cafe, we already have a place in the community center that we lease out that isn't being leased at the present time. We have the golf course that we lease out for restaurants as well, not being leased at the present time. There are existing restaurants in the downtown core that are not operational at this time. And we're gonna add another one to Tumbler Ridge by adding this. So I think this is the wrong approach to the council to get behind, that we're going to continue to add more space for more restaurants and make it even more challenging for the restaurants that are continuing to operate in our community. I still think it's the wrong thing. Again, I can support phase 1, phase 2, I cannot with that type of building there. I think council should think about that as well. We can't lease our own buildings. Now we're gonna give support to another group to lease their building, so.
Yeah, obviously this year is definitely unprecedented as far as restaurant business goes. I do believe our lease is signed and delivered to our community center restaurant, Ms. Thompson, is that correct?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand, through Council. So we do have a lease with an operator for the restaurant, and they're currently getting up and running. We don't have a date of open yet, but they are working on the soon, hopefully.
Any other comments?
Yes, Mayor Bertrand.
Yes, please. Councillor Norbury?
Thank you, Mayor. Yourself and Councillor Kukalka hit home some good points about the cafe. I'd like to speak to that as well, in that this could be an expansion for another business that is currently operating in the district. So that doesn't prevent me from supporting this decision. Moving forward, I do support the GeoPark's plans, in that plans sometimes change and you have to adapt to how they come at you, and their plan is to continue moving forward, and I'd like to see what they do with it, and I think they have a plan, and let's go with it. So I'm in support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hall.
Yeah, so will we receive any taxes to the district of Tumbler Ridge for these buildings that are in here? Or are they gonna get tax-free status for this area?
Question, Ms. Thompson, would you happen to know that?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. It would be tax-free.
So if I was a business in Tumbler Ridge, that would be a fantastic spot to start, knowing that I would not have to pay for my taxes and likely power. They're not gonna have that separated out for power. It's giving an advantage to a business. There's no two ways about it. And like Councillor Norbury makes the point, a business could approach them and try to run it, but this could be an entirely new business to provide competition for businesses that provide tax dollars to the district of Tumbler Ridge. I think it's a mistake to put this cafe in.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Burkhalter?
I think Councillor Howe makes a little bit of sense here. I think maybe we get some information back from staff on that. So is a cafe tax-free as well, or will that be taxed as business? Right, I get the GeoPark part of the concept and their drawings and their plans being under the tax exemption, but what about when they lease on the restaurant space? And I don't think the square footage is marked in here in regards to the space for the cafe, but it's on the page 26 there, and it's part of the washroom and all that, but is that gonna be a taxation that the district goes after? Because if not, that could be a benefit for any organization that goes in there, or private business, if there's no tax that they have to pay. And same with power, but I believe right now, once this is built, we're powering it for free through the district, or the district's covering the bill with it. So does that include that restaurant, or the cafe? So
Ms. Thompson, is it possible to separate that business space out of the lease to collect taxes on it?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. So once the property would be leased, that business would be paying taxes, the same as what it would be at the community center. So if somebody came in to operate the cafe, once they would have that lease, then they would be paying taxes on it. But as the GeoPark, and it was empty, then no, but a leased business it would be.
Thank you. Councillor Burkhalter?
So I know Councillor had her hand up. So my question is, it's not us leasing this facility though, it's being leased to the GeoPark. Right now the land is leased to the GeoPark.
Correct.
Right, so we gave them that, so I guess that's my concern that the Councillor Howard just brought forward. I believe the lease is to the local GeoPark, and Councillor might well answer that, since it's a liaison. So again, would they get the benefit of no tax, as well as no power bill? Because my understanding with that is we're supplying the power for this area. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, Ms. Thompson. You have to know when power is included in the lease agreement.
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. We wouldn't know that yet. Those would be details that would have to be worked out.
Councillor Kirby?
No, that's fine. My comments were answered by Ms. Thompson.
Thank you. Councillor Norbury?
Ms. Thompson answered it. Thank you.
Any other comments? Councillor Majinski?
Yeah, I don't know the proper terminology or the way the Legion did it, but when they went to have an expression to have an open, for the bar open to the public instead of just for the members, they had to put out a sign in front of their building, and unfortunately I can't remember printed, because I actually made the sign of them, so that they did a public notice saying that this is going to be available. Now, would the GeoPark have to do the same thing, because they do have a sign up there now saying that they're gonna build something there, but does it encompass saying that there's gonna be a cafe? Because then, if it says cafe, then there could be potential for people to come in and say, these are my concerns and why. As of right now, as a council member, I haven't heard any concerns from any of the members of the public or any owners of the community. So if there was that in there where they should have a notice saying that, yes, we're putting in a cafe, that and it has to be up for a minimum 30 days and gives people the chance to speak up about it. And I think it's not just us, but the public should be aware of this as well. And that's just my.
Yeah, I think we are missing a bit of information in this report.
Just a nerve check.
I jumped.
Councillor Norwood, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Okay, we just had a power bump here, so.
Stay here.
Ms. Thompson, would a motion defer to try and gather more information be applicable for this?
Thank you, Member Trent. I'll actually pass this one to Ms. Marville to respond with regard to process.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. And thank you, Mayor Bertrand, to the council. It's kind of difficult to make, to give answers tonight because we don't really know exactly what the GeoPark is proposing until they actually bring their proposals in. They're saying they would like to have a cafe, but we don't know that that's actually going to happen yet. So they haven't said, you know, we're going to have a cafe and this is what we plan to do, is, you know, put a request, put for an expression of interest for those who might be interested in doing so. So if there's some specific questions that I might be able to answer.
Okay. Councillor Creed.
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I don't think we really need to defer this. I think the concept drawings that the delegation presented to us and explained why they had made the changes were very clear. Council was in favor of all of that, all of those at the time, it seemed to be. The cafe was part of the plan that they put in to NDIT that was supported because it was creating a new business. The business that will go in there will be leased out to someone local, and it will be a small, and they started out as a cafe, small gift shop. I mean, it provides a space to these pop-up businesses that are looking for some downtown frontage. I think it's a positive addition. The GeoPark did say is that all the equipment will be put in there, but that would be like an espresso machine and some kind of cabinet storage. I don't think it's gonna be anything full-blown where they're gonna put out, you know, 100 lunches a day. It'll be like a gift store, like, you know, and as far as the drawings go, the initial design by Rothney Architect, it was too modern and it didn't meet some of our winter snow loads, etc. So the drawing itself was just changed and utilized better. So their drawing, like the company itself was getting too expensive for us. So we used it, the board took the initial drawing, hired a different contractor, is gonna put together something that'll work a lot better for the community and will be fit in with what we've already got going here in Tumbler. So I mean, to defer this over just a little bit of uncertainty around the cafe, I wouldn't do that. And I think, and you know, we can get more info on that, but this is just the actual drawings that they're looking at for us to pass. And then if we have more questions, we can find that out. But I think, you know, it provides another washroom downtown. It's going to send tourists into all the directions into the downtown core. I think they've actually taken a plan and made it and flipped it and made it for the better. So I would be against deferring it. I think we're at the stage where we could get behind these drawings tonight.
Thank you. Councillor Collins.
Yeah, I don't agree with, or don't disagree with Councillor Irving in regards to when you were here at PNP. When a councillor raises different information, I never thought about the taxation. And to me, we already actually have a lease with the GEOPARK in regards to that, and I believe it's tax exempt. So my concern would be with Councillor Howell's raised, is this cafe tax exempt under the contract that we have with the GEOPARK? And if it is also the power, because we already have a contract on a lease over there on the grounds for them to build. My understanding when we discussed at the beginning, again, that was power covered by the district. So is the cafe that's gonna be going in there and be leased out by the GEOPARK? It's not being leased out by the district of Tumbler Ridge. Is that tax exempt and free power? That could really give them an up on another small cafe in the district of Tumbler Ridge, or any other little business in Tumbler Ridge. Gift shops, whatever. I mean, level playing field. So I guess that's my concern there. And it didn't get raised in our PMP, but it's been raised tonight. It's something I never thought of. And I think that's why you come to a meeting prepared to debate it and listen to everybody that's bringing information to the table.
Yeah, I agree. Any other comments? Councillor Kirby?
Thank you, Mayor Bertrand. I would imagine that if you're gonna have a business license, or you're gonna set up businesses, whether it's in that building or not, you're gonna pay taxes on that. And I think you could figure it out, if that's something the council wants, then we can get that set up at the time. I think right now, just looking at the proposal, we just say, once that arises, once there is something in place, then we look at that in a separate manner at another date.
Councillor Howell?
Yeah, so again, if we did a phased approach, I don't think anybody is against the trailer tonight. I mean, we could at least give them that to move forward on, but there are some existing tasks and
I just came back on.
questions there that need to be resolved, and in this report, that's not even touched on, right? We did not dawn on anybody to bring that forward. So then for us just to on the fly go, oh yeah, we'll just tax whoever goes in there, they'll be taxed, that'll be fine. We just need to make sure that's what we're here for, to make sure that it is a level and even fair playing field for the people that are already paying the taxes in Tumbler Ridge, that we're not giving somebody an advantage in a brand new build. That's where everybody, all the tourists are gonna go, absolutely. They're gonna go right into that area first off when you come into the community, and if that's the only area they need to go to get a few bottles of water and a drink, then they don't go over to the Chevron, they don't go over to the inn, they don't go over to the rec center, they grab their stuff and they go hiking. Or they go over to the visitor center, and we don't get people that are paying the taxes, but paying for 35 years to get any benefit out of it. So that is something we have to be super cognizant of and careful of. These people that paid the taxes all these years have given us the opportunity to put something like this into our community. So we have to get those questions answered, and to me, I think we should vote this down, and we should vote just the stage one, like the bus or whatever that thing is, the exhibit pod or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I got one other thing to mention there too. So another thing that, and I wasn't here for the PMP on it, but I see that there's another public stage in this unit. I don't quite get why we have more public stages in Tumbler Ridge than what we have gas stations in Tumbler Ridge. But this will be the third public stage that we'll have in our community. We'll have one here, we got one going in out at the Grisfest grounds, the TRDA's grounds, and we've got the Roman Archway. And so now we'll have three public stage areas in our community. So again, we need it? I don't think so.
Thank you. Any comments?
Mayor Bertrand?
Councillor Norbury?
Thank you. I agree with Councillor Kirby that we shouldn't be postponing this decision. I do recognize the concerns with the cafe, but for myself, I look at another organization which is similar. I think that's the Legion. They have a portion that is untaxed and a portion that is taxed. I think this falls very much into that same category. So for myself, I don't see that as a reason to hold up this great project. And if it is the case, we can make sure moving forward that any organization within that cafe, and I think it should be taxed, and I believe it will be. So I think we should continue on and give them our support in developing this project.
Councillor? Any other comments? Ms. Thompson, is it possible to answer those questions in regard? I definitely understand council's awareness and unwillingness to create an unfair advantage for a business like this. moving forward with the lease as it is at the moment, are we able to adjust the taxes for that property? Or, I'm just wondering if we need to defer this.
Thank you, Member Bertrand. I think moving forward, being that this would be a new build, we would be able to create a separate lease agreement specifically for that space. There's the power issue, our concern about who's paying for that, that could be written into a new agreement for a newly developed space. I really don't feel that the GEOPARK would not be willing to enter negotiations for a new agreement or an addendum to the current agreement that we have.
Any other comments? Okay, call the question on the recommendation, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, thank you. Councillor Lehmann? Councillors, if you do need to excuse yourselves, you're welcome to move yourself at home in my office as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you. 9.2, budget variance report, month ending September 30th, 2020. Report by the Director of Finance dated November 2nd, 2020, giving an update on the district's budgeted versus actual revenue and spending to September 30th, 2020. Recommendation, please. Councillor McCullough.
The council received the budget variance report monthly ending September 2020 for information.
Seconder. Councillor Lehmann. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. 9.3, amendments to policy EO2, elected officials, recognition for years of service. To amend the attached policy as requested by council at the October 13th, 2020 policies and priorities meeting. Recommendation, please. Councillor Lehmann.
That council approves the EO2 elected officials recognition for years of service policy amendments as presented.
Seconder, Councillor Kirby, discussion. Councillor Cobb.
I just think, perhaps a lot of staff, they captured the discussion at P&P, brought forward the changes that council was talking about, so we should give credit to staff, I think, on picking that up and then coming forward and instead of trying to hash it out here and figure out what to add, they caught what council was talking about.
Thank you. Other comments? I just have one thing. I honestly think it's ridiculous that we're having to amend this policy twice in a short time here because of the same person. But, call the question on the recommendation. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. No, 9.4, schedule of meetings. Any issues there? Okay, notice of motions, any notice of motions this evening? Councillor Calca.
Then we ask staff to prepare an emergency, for the emergency department in regards to our volunteer fire personnel status. And what council can do to assist them.
Can you repeat that one more time for staff, please?
That we ask staff for, sorry, I had it written down, I don't know what I put the paper, but that we ask staff to prepare a report for the emergency department in regards to our status of our volunteer fire department. What council can do to help.
Okay. thank you. Any other notice motions? I have one as well. The council requests staff to perform an investment review report for council's information in order to achieve maximum interest income. Okay, 10.1, potential organizational change for the community forest. I'll move the recommendation that council asks staff to bring forward a report of information on the legal and audit ramifications of converting the community forest management structure from a corporation to a limited partnership. Seconder, Councillor Kukalka, discussion. Call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Moving on, councilor's business. Any councilor's business? Thank you again, Councillor Overby, for selling piece report. Councillor Howard.
I just want to throw a quick shout out to our Public Works Department for the snow removal they did on October 30th to get ready for the kids trick-or-treating on a Saturday. I couldn't believe how much they were able to clear by the end of the day on Friday, and it was an excellent job after a major snowfall. And just want to say hats off to the Public Works staff for having the forethought to have that stuff ready for the kids on Saturday.
I completely agree. I think we're quite lucky for the service that we have here in Tumbler, definitely. My council business, I had a coalition meeting, and I also wanted to congratulate Community Resources for receiving the large employer emergency financing facility, new financing arm from the federal government. It's going to be a very big helping hand in their future development. That's all for me at the moment. Any other council business? Okay. Moving on to question and answer period. Ms. Thompson, did you receive any questions by email?
Thank you, Member Trent. No, we did not receive anything by email.
Okay, thank you. And resolution to close meeting. Recommendation that the meeting be closed to the public in accordance with the community charter, section 91J and K as follows. J is information that is prohibited or information that if it were presented in a document would be prohibited. Disclosure under section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. K is negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary states and that, in the view of the council, could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public. Seconder?